Hey folks, we're up here at Michigan State University's Forestry Innovation Center outside Escanaba. We have with us Mitch and Nick in the background. They are going to help us today make up some wreaths. It's the Christmas season, and we see those wreaths out there on the market. This is a value-added product for most Christmas tree growers. And really, it's not that hard to make the base of a wreath. These wreath rings are a welded wire product that you can buy wholesale, and they've got a series of clamps on them. And then we've mated this tool onto this flat surface, and this really is going to make our wreath making a lot easier than it was in the past. What we're using today is a combination of several different fir trees. Again, these are what we call a value-added product because we've already gone out and we've harvested the trees, and what's left, the unusable or unsaleable part as a Christmas tree, normally those lower branches, are going to be turned into a $20, $30, $50 wreath. And it's really quite simple. You're going to start with a very fresh cut bough, and what I like to do is I like to layer several different species together of fir tree or cultivars into a bundle of about 3 or 4 branches. And I'm going to hold them with my right hand, and I've got the wire ring in the clamp already, and I'm going to want this stem to be attached at 2 points. So I'm going to make sure my cut end is in the first one and then over top of the second one. And now there's a foot pedal down here at the base, and the first few clamps I'm holding the top of this wire ring so it doesn't clip up, and I'm just going to push down and tighten those wires. All right, I've now attached my first set. I move it counterclockwise because I'm making these in that manner. And what the guys are doing out ahead of us, they're clipping these into 1 foot, maybe out to 16-inch lengths, and they're stacking the largest, widest boughs at the bottom, all the way down to kind of our filler accent pieces that are closest to us. Now I'm going to put this one in over top of those two, and you can see what I'm doing, and when we're done, we're going to manipulate the branches and make sure all of the last gaps are full. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that second batch in, I'm going to hold down, and I'm going to push down with my foot. And now we have the 2 points of connection are attached for that first clip. We're going to move it over one more time, and you can see that with a well-seasoned crew of those that are clipping the branches off those culled trees and those that are making the wreaths, you can step right out, and in just a few minutes you can have together a very nice looking base of a wreath. Now, this isn't going to cover how you put the bows on it, how you decorate that. A lot of times what I like to do is leave that up to each individual person for their own personal preference. You line those up, and you can see having a workspace that will accommodate all of the cuttings that are right at hand, having a workspace that's warm, having a workspace that isn't too dry, because these wreaths were just a living tree not too long ago, and they will dry out and they will desiccate. So now we're getting down to the last few, and it begins to get a little bit more difficult down in here, because you have to work around and through the ones that you've already put down in place. So now we have a wreath. This is a 20-inch hoop. It's going to make roughly a 30-inch diameter wreath. So now what we would do is we would have this hung up, and we would begin to identify which is kind of a gap and where that bow would go. And so we'd start to look at it like that, and we move these around and just position it. And so there, after about 5 minutes of work, we have ourselves a value-added wreath.